First of all textbooks in economics never say what money is. It says what money does, the functions of money, which is not the same thing. To me, money is an agreement in a community to use something standardized as a medium of exchange. So it lives in the same space as marriage, as business contracts, as political parties, in our head. It's an agreement to use something as a medium of exchange. And what's interesting with that definition, you can actually, when you have an agreement, the day that someone invented marriage, someone else invented divorce. When you have a business deal that doesn't work, we can change it. When you define money as a monopoly, that's all the functions, and in other words, it does medium of exchange, standard of value, store of value. I believe that they are not doing them very well together, first of all. These currencies, conventional money is not a very good safe store of value, for example, with inflation. And as a medium of exchange, if you keep it as a store of value, I make it not available for other people to use it as a medium of exchange. So in other words, you have a whole mechanism that actually blocks these three functions. It's better to have specialized functions. You can have a savings currency based on trees. A tree grows over time. A tree that big is more worth than being that big. So why not use a savings currency? We proposed that for India. For microfinance institutions, micro savings, where actually you have a currency that the unit of account is a tree. Different types of money encourage different types of behavior patterns. Conventional money, official money, creates competition. If you want to have a problem in the family, put up €1 million on the table, come back 2 weeks later, there's a fight. It's going to be my dreams or your dreams that we are going to be fighting for. Other currencies generate cooperation. So in other words, there is another way of creating relationships, encouraging relationships with other currencies. One type of currency is, for example, the mutual credit systems. I do something for you, I have a credit, you have a debit. If you were just doing something back for me, that would be barter, right? However, if we have an agreement with my credits, I can get something from her, and you can work for an hour in someone else's garden for your debit, we've created a currency between the four of us. That currency obliges cooperation. We create it ourselves. It is not scarce. If it takes 2 hours, we create 2 hours. You can't do that with rubles or euros. We cannot create our own currency. Insufficiency. Barter has very strong limitations. If I like your shirt and you like my tie, if you don't like the color of my tie, I can't have your shirt. You need a standardized medium of exchange. That is what money is. Not having money, not having a standardized medium of exchange, limits the exchanges, makes them much more complicated. You may have strawberries now, but I need your shirt now. There's a season. What do we do if... So in other words, there's time delays, there are money, yes, one can agree on some things that are barter, but money is very useful to make it more efficient, more easy. So the real issue is, let's not get rid of the idea of having a medium of exchange. Let's just design medium of exchange that works for us, rather than us being enslaved in one particular system that has a specific dynamic, which is not what we want. It is good for competitive environment. The Industrial Revolution would not have happened if we didn't have that kind of money. But we also have a bunch of problems because of that. Breakdown of community, unsustainable behavior patterns, short-term thinking, collapse of, all these things are the problems that it has generated are also built in there. And I think we need now global solutions, and we therefore need a global currency that nobody's national money. Specifically for global stability. And one of the reasons for that is that when you have someone's national money that's used for the international currency, 30% of the time when there is a conflict between these two roles. For example, when the British managed the global system, the gold standard, they sacrificed the English economy. We don't need such a conflict. We need to design a system that actually works for everybody and is designed for a global system. And that's nobody's national money. And I have a proposal in that domain to create a currency that's fully backed by a basket of commodities. And what's important about that is that it makes it profitable to think long term. When you have a currency with a positive interest rate, conventional money, the future doesn't matter. With a currency that has a demurrage fee, it's called technically, you actually have, the future is more important than the present. So this would actually be a currency that also would solve that problem, long-term thinking. So it would be a money that's nobody's national money, but at the same time also makes it profitable to think long-term, which I believe is one of the key conditions. So it's another example of a currency.